Yes. Happy Monday night, everybody. Welcome to the Royal We. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm excited to get started. I'm going to wait just a couple of minutes here for people to sign on. There's a little bit of a lag time, so you could be watching right now, and I won't know it, but welcome to the Royal We Live. This is where we talk about narcissistic abuse. More importantly, we talk about healing from narcissistic abuse. And what we're going to do is get into a lot of the future of the Royal We in this video. This is going to be a year-end video. What's going on, everybody? Hey, life is a journey. And D-Doll, Tanya, hello, everybody. It's good to see you. This is going to be a kind of a year in review, but what to look forward to in the next year with the Royal We, the direction that we're going to be going as far as talking about narcissistic abuse and how to heal. And hi, Purple Butterfly, how are you? So I'm excited to talk about this as far as the lesson goes, and I hope also to hear from a lot of you. The telephone number will be up there, so you can be able to contact me. I'm experimenting right now with a little bit of a different background, as you can see. I hope you can dig it. I can dig it. And I'm going to try my best to transition. I'm still learning how to use this stuff. And so I'm going to have to transition by moving a screen around and putting the phone number up another way. So that it's not a big deal, but it's good to see you all there. How are you? How is everybody doing tonight? Purple Butterfly, how are you? Life is a journey. D-Doll, Tanya, it's good to see you. D, thank you. Yes, I am going with the green screen approach. I figured, why not? About time to take those styrofoam sound pieces that were falling off of the wall and kind of get with the program, you know? Use technology. I have it. Who would have thought I had the ability to use this stuff, and I never used it. So it kind of scared me to go into this realm that I don't know. But this is what the Royal We is going to be all about in this new year. This is exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. Hey, Cynthia, here from Ohio. It's good to have you here. Welcome, everybody. All right. Purple Butterfly. Oh, you're sick? Flu? Very bad? No. It's going around. It's cold. Listen, welcome to the Royal We, everybody. And today was kind of rough on me, too. I just brought to my attention because Purple Butterfly is sick, and I feel so sorry for you being sick. Being sick is not good. I hope it's just one of the 24-hour flus where you're just sick for the night and then you get over it. That's typically what I get. It's like a 24-hour flu, and I'll be, out for a night, and hopefully I wake up the next morning feeling like $1 million. Other than that, get the typical cold that can last a week. Here in St. Louis, Missouri, with the weather changes, it snowed today. And when I say it snowed, it was like 4 to 5 inches. And I know a lot of you from Chicago or Minnesota, you're probably saying, listen, that's nothing, dude. We get that like in a few hours. But it's different for us. It jammed up our streets. I got stuck for the first time on my way home. I was going up a kind of a slight incline, as I normally do on the route. It's not that bad, but the roads were snowy and icy, and for the first time, I was stuck. My back wheels were spinning. The front of my car started to drift to the side like this, and I did my best to pull the wheel, and I was kind of giving it a little bit of gas, just trying to get a little bit of traction and momentum, and finally I was able to get enough momentum to get over and get into the gas station, which was pretty close by. Some people came out and pushed the car. And this is what I like about St. Louis. This is what I like about Missouri in general, the whole Southern hospitality thing. When it comes to dealing with people, it's not likely you'll develop really close friendships. However, when you're in a pickle in the side of the road, they will not hesitate to stop and help you out. Right? It's kind of like there's a saying out here in the Midwest. It's like if you need any directions or you need to know where to go, no problem. They've got you, right? You need your car pushed, anybody else. But if you need a really good friend, it's not likely because they grow up real tight-knit around here. So we're getting used to that. But it's really nice to be able to have people help you on the side of the road when you are sliding around in your car. And I've got a really stupid car for snow and ice. It's an old Mercedes. So no, I'm not a baller, not rolling in money. It's an old Mercedes. It's a 2000, but it's got a lot of kick to it. It's a little sports. It's a little sports car, and it's rear wheel drive, and you barely hit the gas, and it skids out in a little bit of rain, let alone snow and ice. So you can imagine me in this car trying to get anywhere with 4 inches, 5 inches of snow. Wasn't happening. So I experienced being stuck for a little while, but no big deal. I got home. Everything was good. Everything was good. So let's talk really briefly about the future of the Royal We. And I wanted to get some dudes going for Tanya. Yeah! Right on. All right. So the future of the Royal We. I'm so excited to share this with you guys. What we're going to be, and gals. I was having a conversation with Blue the other day, and the Royal We is going to be taking a shift, and we're going to be talking about narcissistic abuse. No doubt that's always going to come up in the videos. However, it's important to let you know that the Royal We is not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor. It's not Dr. Royal We, right? The Royal, and I get comments every now and then on the YouTube channel saying, what are your qualifications? What are your credentials to be talking about this? And I don't respond, but I'll respond in this video by saying, what credentials do you need to talk about your pain? What credentials do you need to talk about your awakening, your what you deal with if you're dealing with narcissistic abuse? You don't need credentials for that. The Royal We was not born out of credentials. All right, it wasn't. It was born out of what was to me a very unique, painful experience that awakened me and changed my life forever. All right. That's really what happened. When this first happened, when the narcissistic abuse first happened, I was angry. I was sad. I was rejected. I was frustrated. I was hurting. I was filled with, I had PTSD and was really trying to fight through what was going on, what latched into my life. And I thought I was battling like demons. I didn't know what the answer was until I was able to go to YouTube and start to see other people talking about narcissistic abuse, and I started to share my own, okay? And this is where I found the community. This is where I found the Royal We community. And I realized that we're not alone, right? This journey is shared by all of us, and this is something that we are growing through. There's growing pains, but now, being that the Royal We was born out of this hurt, anger, bitterness, frustration, pain, rejection, confusion, not understanding anything of what was taking place. Over time, morphed and changed and transformed into a place of healing. And I can honestly tell you that I am in a place of healing. Now, what's important to understand here about this healing of narcissistic abuse is that there are changes in your life that will last forever. I am a changed person. I am no longer the person that I was before narcissistic abuse. Just not. It has shaved off a lot of the fluff, if you will, in my life. It's shaved off. Not all the empathy. I'm still an empathetic person, but it has shaved off the desire to be just Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Yes Person, Mr. all this stuff that I know you have probably struggled with as well. If you have come from a background of being an empath, possibly codependent, being a yes person, just giving and giving and giving, not paying attention to red flags, not knowing how to walk away the moment something is off, right? These are things that will forever be changed in my life. However, aside from that, a massive healing has taken place. PTSD, gone. Anxiety, gone. The anger, frustration, bitterness is transformed into something else. It's been taking this time to transform into a message. The Royal We message, through all the videos. I have a lot of videos by now. And that's where all my pain went, right? So I would encourage you, if you're new to the royal we, if you're new to this, we'll always be here. But I encourage you to start now in writing this out. Start a creative process of processing this, because from what I've seen, it's a creative process of getting through the pain that's going to help you to realize it. Okay? Whoa.
Grassland, desert, scrubland, tundra.
It's that song again. We don't want none of that, right? And so, with that, I'm going to say some hi to some people here, but I also want to tell you where the royal we is going before we get into some phone calls. So, the royal we is going to be transitioning even more. Yes, it's still going to be about narcissistic abuse, like I said. However, the message is going to be more centered on action and journey and healing. So, gone are the days where just going to sit and talk about narcissists. Okay, that was never really an intention of the royal we. Part of the royal we was never intended to talk about narcissists. Why do narcissists do this, and why do narcissists do that, and why do they not care, and why do they cuss, and why do they, and on and on and on. It was never really my intention, because again, that's not my expertise. I'm not a clinical psychologist, and I have not broken down. And I used to have a saying, and I've changed this a little bit, but I used to be pretty hardcore on this. People would say, how do you, what am I dealing with? What kind of narcissist? Am I dealing with a histrionic or a cluster B or a bipolar? And I've learned over the years that it doesn't matter. It truly doesn't. You know, abuse is abuse is abuse. And when you're dealing with people, it could be histrionic, cluster B. It doesn't matter. It's narcissistic abuse. It's bullying. It's abuse. It doesn't matter. I've never heard anybody say, you know what? I found out that the person I'm dealing with is cluster B by whatever, Machiavellianism or whatever. And now that I know that, everything is so much better. It works out great. The relationship is better. I've never heard that, right? So the important thing to focus on is our journey, your journey, my journey, the royal we. This is what we're going to focus on. We're going to take this journey, and we're going to continue to focus on healing in the new year. We're going into the new year, right? We're going to focus on healing, but in a journey, in a creative journey. That's what we're going to take. It's going to be something that is going to be able to pick you up as I am picking myself up when we fall down. It's going to be flying just to new heights. It's going to be soaring. And I'm actually working on this video right now to show off the brand new Royal We drone that you provided. And this is what is so amazing, is because I know, since you are taking a part in this, that you want to continue to see a journey. You don't just want to see people sitting down talking about narcissists. There's plenty of channels that do that. And they do a far better job than I do on diagnosing and talking about narcissists. So that's not what I want to do. I don't want to diagnose and talk about narcissists to you. I want to talk about you, talk about me, talk about what we're doing, where we're going on a daily basis, weekly basis, a monthly basis, what we're doing to climb up and out of the toxic relationships, what we're doing to fly high above the toxic relationships, what we're doing to soar into new territories of our life. Because this is what the healing is all about, and this is what the royal we is all about. We can no longer just sit in this new year and mope and fuss over the narcissist. They're going to live their life. It's time to release them, let them go. Whether they fail or succeed should not have anything to do with your personal success. All right? This is what we want to focus on. This is what we want to focus on. All right? A lot of people I know, and this is something I go back and forth with too, you know, we want to make sure that we are succeeding and the narcissist is not getting ahead of us, right? How terrible that would be. Listen, you'll never know anyways when your narcissist has fallen into shambles, because they put on an excellent public display of hypocrisy and lies. And so their social media or whoever you talk to will always only see their upside. but you know the truth. You know they're disabled and they're breaking and they're falling apart, right? You know that. You don't need to see it anymore. You've already seen it. You saw it when your relationship with them fell apart. You saw the real them. You saw the real them. You don't need to know, right? So we're going to focus on you. We're going to focus on the royal we in this new year. We are going to fly. We're going to soar. Get ready to see a totally different approach to the royal we content creation. It's going to be a lot of journey taking. It's going to be a lot of uh, creativity. It's going to be a lot of flying. It's going to be a lot of drone shots. And there's also going to be messages in there. Okay. So don't feel like it's not going to be the royal we. It is, but it's going to be the royal we on just ready to go out there and just get them. And I know that it'll risk losing some people. I anticipate this because anytime there's a drastic shift in the type of content you create, I've already gotten flack. I've heard people say, I'm tired of the music. Turn the music off. I liked it better when you were just sitting down talking. And I get all that. I get all that. But as you grow and as you heal, you start to want and need something different, right? And so this is what we're doing. So the people who are ready for a change and a shift in the delivery of message, if you're done listening about the narcissists and how messed up they are, and you're ready to start talking about you and what we can do, what the royal we can do as far as getting out there and making a difference, right? That's what we're going to be all about. That's what we're going to be all about. So you can expect the videos to have a lot of music in it. A lot of music, a lot of, hopefully, what I consider creative shots, all right? And this is the best thing about experiencing narcissistic abuse is what it's turned into for me. It's actually transitioned and morphed me into who I really am and what I really enjoy doing in life, right? This creative process. And it's something that I had hidden and I had pushed away and I denied myself for years, and instead tried to fill that gap with relationships that ended up being toxic, right? And so the toxic relationships pushed me back, said, you need to do what you're good at doing, what you're called to do. And so here we are. Here we are. All right. Oh my, love the music. D, you are going to really love the music coming out pretty soon. I am working right now. For those of you who don't know, I do make the music for the Royal Wish videos. And I'm working right now on some 80s synth pop. Raise your hand if you're down for the 80s. It's kind of a newer style 80s synth pop, some heavy beats, things like that. And I'm going to be putting that in the video, mixed in with the drone shots and the camera shots and all kinds of stuff. And I'm super excited about it. So I'm looking forward for you to watch the next video. The next video, by the way, that's going to be out this week. Hopefully, if it's not snowing, I'm going to finish up this video. It's going to be about the drone that you provided, but there's a great message with it. I'm excited. So how are you? How's everybody doing tonight? Love the music. Thank you, Tanya. And therapy, a lot of people are in therapy. I recommend therapy. I was in therapy up until 8 months ago. Every now and then I was going to a very trusted resource, a Christian pastor out here in the area who actually knew my grandparents when my grandparents lived out here. Great, because I was still struggling with the pain. And last year, I was curious to know if the what's the right word to say it? If you can get tormented because of unforgiveness. This is what I was working through last year. While I was making videos, while I was talking to you guys, I was to you all. I was still struggling with, have I forgiven the narcissist? Because I'm still in pain. I'm still hurting. And there's a passage in the Bible where it says that if you do not forgive, that God will hand you over to your tormentors. And I don't know exactly what that meant. I mean, I took it as, well, does that mean that I was handed over to demons or something? Well, what does this mean? And so I went to this pastor, the counselor, and basically sat me down and he said, "Are you plotting your revenge?" I said, "No." "Are you constantly thinking about how to hurt. I said, no. And he says, then you forgive them. You've forgiven the narcissist. And I said, well, what's this pain? What's this? And then he shared with me and helped me walk through the process of changing, this life transformation, this time in which God, if you will, opens our eyes to see a lot of the truths and a lot of the realities of this world that we live in that we would rather push away and pretend doesn't exist. It's painful, right? So it's not the same as being unforgiving, and no, it's not being cursed. So for those of you who feel like you've been cursed or tormented, or you have, and I felt that way too. I was wondering if I was cursed. All the names that were called, and I've made a video talking about how you can take on the delegation of narcissists. In other words, if you're around the toxic waste for long enough, they're calling you names and cussing you out, you can take that on as a delegated role. You hear you're stupid long enough, after a while, it's going to beat you down, right? And you can start to live in that. And then when you're out of the relationship, when the narcissist leaves, you're thinking that you can't do anything. You're timid around people. You're afraid of doing stuff. Why? You're nowhere near who you were before. Why? Because you've taken on a delegated role of their projection, right? So it goes from their projection to a delegation. There's actually a power behind this. It's something you wrestle with. I forget the name again. Maybe D-Doll can help me out. This is what the second video, the struggle was. Not Cosmic Fator, but the other one. Anyways, but you can't have that, right? And you need to break that. You need to break that delegation. Understand that that's not your delegated role. Anytime you leave a job or you leave wherever, you're no longer delegated to fulfill those responsibilities. So when you walk out and you leave and you turn your back and you walk away from narcissists, you walk away from toxic people, whether it's parents, friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, you walk away from them, you're no longer responsible to carry out the duties that you did. You're no longer responsible to wear that robe of nonsense that they threw around you. You're no longer delegated by any authority because they have none. You've quit. You left, right? Someone quits a job. They don't go out and still perform those job functions. They can, or you can do something completely new. You and I were doing something completely new. That's what the Royal We is all about. Exousia. Thank you, D. What would I do without you, D? What would I do without you? What would I do without any of you? And I'm going to go ahead and shift over to the other format screen. I've been playing around with my little green screens here. Hope you don't mind. I am going to put up a different green screen that has the telephone number on it. So that way you all can call. And I would like to hear what's going on in your world. So anybody who would like to go ahead and call in, you're more than welcome to. Let me get the phone number up there. And again, I have to do this thing one at a time because, there we go. For whatever reason, this program only allows for one green screen background at a time. So with that, I'll go ahead and put the telephone number up, and hopefully we'll get some people calling in. I'd love to hear from you. Love to hear how your week is going. Cynthia says, I was called psycho because I wanted him to stop drinking. That sounds typical. Yeah. Narcissists hate boundaries. They absolutely, when it comes to boundaries, if you try to tell them to stop doing something, stop calling me names, please stop the drinking, stop this, stop that, they hate boundaries. They don't understand them. And so they get mad. How dare you tell them to stop doing anything? I got the same thing. I was called selfish and judgmental and toxic because I was asking them to stop calling me names, stop cussing around me and my family, stop using curse words around my children. And because I was saying this, because I'm setting a boundary. They hate that. Who are you to set boundaries? And again, I'm not qualified to talk about the psychology of narcissistic abuse, but I believe this is it just shows you the heavy intrusion that they must have had throughout their life of not being able to have any boundaries. They can't, they've never had boundaries honored, so how can they honor yours, right? You just have to get out of the situation, understand that they don't understand how to process you having boundaries, right? You like the green screen, Tanya? Thank you so much. D, you got your backgrounds figured out and the sound, working on lighting. My drone did not arrive. Got stuck in Dallas 7 days and then went back to sender. Boo-hoo. We'll buy one at Walmart new. D, I'm so excited for you. I am so excited to see what you are going to be putting out. And we're going to have a drone off. Be very careful with the drones because they do crash. And I'm going to be doing my best to keep this drone flying and going. I wanted to have it out today to finish the video that I'm working on for you so badly, but the snow and I flew my old drone in the snow, but for some reason this one, I'm like, no. This is a royal weed drone. This drone belongs to all of us, and I almost feel like I need to ask your permission and before I do anything really dumb like fly it in the snow. You know what I mean? Because it's just as much yours as it is mine, to all of you who've contributed. So I'm not just going to take this drone and go fly it out in the snow just so I can get snow falling over the tops of the arch and the buildings. And as cute as the video would probably be, maybe, I don't know, it might just look like a bunch of white stuff everywhere. I'm just not going to do it. Not going to take those kinds of risks. And but however, I am going to be taking the drone with me to California. For those of you who don't know, I am going back to California for next week, and it's been in the planning for quite some time, a few months. And I'll be honest with you, it did set me up for a little bit of triggers. It set me up with anxiety, especially at first. I'm at this place now where I'm okay. I'm okay with it. This, to me, is an indication of the healing. This is when, I want to tell you this. Hang in there till the miracle happens. You'll know when the miracle happens. And the miracle has to do with you, not the narcissist. The miracle is when it all snaps in, where you find yourself and you're no longer afraid, right? You no longer have any fear. You're no longer timid. I'm going back to California, the place where I came from. And I straight up ran from that place, right? Get out here to the Midwest and start a new life. And we did. But there's some people back there. Some I'm okay with seeing. Some I would rather not. Some are, but however, I'm going and I'm okay with it. Whether I see certain people or I don't, whether I get any highs or I say hi, it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. I'm going there with just my family. I'm going to be there a couple days, and we're going to head right back. And I'm not nervous about it. I'm okay with it. This, to me, is an indication that there's a healing that's taken place. Now, I don't recommend anybody do this. I want to let you know and clarify that I stepped away from the narcissist about 5 years ago. Meaning I stopped going to certain parties. I stopped going to certain gatherings. I couldn't take the all that stuff anymore. I just couldn't take it. So I stopped going while I was in California. Then I moved 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago, to St. Louis. So I've been away completely, states away, 5 states away, to continue this healing. And so now I'm at a place where I'm able to go back. Now, you're welcome, Cynthia. Tanya, no, you're not toxic. Kevin sounds like they are. Yes, set a boundary. They disrespect yours. Yes. I'm glad you came on. I was having an anxiety attack, and now I'm calm. Thank you. Penny, thank you. And thank you for being here. And that's good. Just, you're going to have ups and you're going to have downs. The anxiety is real. I get anxiety attacks too, not as much as I used to. All right. So these are things that your body works out. Give yourself permission to have these experiences, to feel them. Don't try to fight them. Instead, just roll with them. Calm yourself down. Start to learn soothing, calming techniques. I actually made a video about an anxiety attack, and I acted the anxiety attack out. For me, closing the throat, couldn't really breathe, tunnel vision, felt like I was going to pass out. It was real. Lightheadedness, scary stuff, right? The anxiety attacks. And I just learned different ways to ground myself. Take a drink of water, uh, get up, walk outside, take slow breaths, just learning the best way to uh, uh, just calm myself. Anxiety is nothing more than your adrenal glands are going. So you're getting all huffy and puffy, and it's triggering basically adrenaline, fight or flight, fight or flight mode. Has a lot to do with that anxiety, and so just learn how to ground. And this is something that I've done as well. I've had to. Be sure to take your own transportation so you can leave whenever you want to. Don't let anybody block you in by their parking. D, thank you for that heads up. And, these are things that I don't anticipate there being an issue. Again, I don't have fear. Should something really weird happen, I mean, I'm the type I would not hesitate to get law enforcement involved, call who I need to call, whatever you got to do, And something that I would also recommend to everybody, we'll probably talk about this in the new year, get some self-defense going, right? The Royal We needs to get some, and I mean as a community, the Royal We needs to get some self-defense going, right? Whether you get in there, start taking some kickboxing classes, start taking some, karate. I already have my boy. He's 5. I have him in Taekwondo, so he's starting out young. And again, it's not to walk around in anger and frustration and go look for people. It's so that in these moments where we're going, and if somebody, and I don't believe, the types of narcissists, I don't know if that would be something I would need to worry about. But have that. You get blocked in or whatever, be ready to defend yourself if you have to, right? Whether you contact law enforcement or you defend yourself by yourself. Nothing wrong with that. We have to kind of break the stigma of it's not right to defend ourselves. And I made a video talking about this as well. One of the issues I struggle with is when I was a young boy growing up, I had a very heavy-handed father in my life, very big on discipline. And if I was out of control, and if I even talked back, or if I was spanked, I was punished for that. And so much so that it stripped away a lot of my ability to just stand up for myself. And this is important, and I'm so glad that I now have this understanding so I can lead my son in a different way. I don't think parents understood this when I was a youngster, right? My generation. Parents thought that the mentality was children should be seen, not heard, or whatever. I don't know if you've heard that one. Another one was all about respect. You talk to adults, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. And when I was young, I couldn't even say no. Don't tell me no. That was how my father talked to me. Don't you tell me no, right? Reason I'm telling you this is I believe their intentions. Well, my father is definitely narcissistic in a lot of ways. Still love him. Still my dad, and I'll still talk with him. But I don't think he understood that what he was doing was creating in me a passiveness of not being able to tell people no, of really, but at the same time, instilling in me a sense of respect towards people. So that's a good thing, right? I enjoy the part where I did, call people, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, thank you, sir. And have those good, solid values and morals. I appreciate all that. I don't like that, when I was growing up, it was you were punished for standing up for yourself because that took away a lot of your ability to stand up for yourself, right? When it came time for me to deal with narcissists and bullies, I didn't know what to do. Can I do this? Can I do this back? Am I going to get in trouble? What? Oh, I don't know. So it took a long time and a lot of healing for me to get to this place where now I know, no, it is okay. This is my life. So in a way, I'm thankful for how I was raised because it saved me from getting into trouble. So I wasn't someone out scrapping with people all the time. But at the same time, it took a very traumatic experience, narcissistic abuse, to wake me up to the reality that the world is harsh, people are rude and crude, and for the most part, they don't care about you. People are self-serving, people are selfish, and you need to be able to defend yourself should you have to, right? Obviously, the best type of fight is the one that you don't get in, right? Then you just move on, and that takes a certain amount of humility, right? In this world we live in today, road rage happens all the time, and bad things happen when one person's road rage meets with another person's road rage, and they start chasing each other and pulling over and start swinging at each other. Guy gets out of a car with his kids in it. He's got a baseball bat. The other guys get out and they got guns. This is it. So we want to stay away from all that, right? So we have to learn, and most of us already do this anyway. So we're good. This is the part that I'm happy about, is that someone cuts me off, has a little episode of road rage, flips me off, yells me out, yells at me, whatever. That's fine. Go. Yeah, you're crazy. You're psycho. You're a sociopath. I'm not even going to look your way, right? Because you never know. I don't want to be on those videos. I don't want to be the dad that gets out of the car with my kids in there, my wife, and grabbing the bat. I don't want to be. No. Silly. So that's the good aspect of being raised in a very tough environment, of being punished for being disobedient, defiant in that way, right? Now then, in a situation where you have no choice, but you have to defend yourself, then it's good to know how to defend yourself. Take some martial arts, right? Use it only if you have to. Yes. All right. Man, I really go off on rants, don't I, everybody? Hey, bust there. Hey, there you go. I did some jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai. Life is a journey. I did some Muay Thai too. I loved Muay Thai. I have very long legs. I'm 6'1", very long legs, and it's a disadvantage for me in Muay Thai because you really have to swing that leg. The instructor that I had was trying to tell me how you swing it like a bat, your leg like a bat. And I couldn't do that. My leg is too long to whip it up there and whip it around like a bat. But I enjoyed Muay Thai, man. Muay Thai is some good stuff right there. Mike, wishing you some martial arts? Go sign up. Just go anywhere local. Listen, here's the cool thing about karate, martial arts, self-defense. There's something about it. This may sound weird. I don't know. Something about it that when you start doing it, it's like you're meant to be a part of something like that. Doing jiu-jitsu, wrestling around. Listen, even with guys, when you're wrestling with another guy, you're just going at it, and you're not trying to really hurt one another, but you're just going through moves, and it's fun. It's amazing. It feels so good. It's like we're meant to have this type of some form of physical activity where we're exercising a technique that is hands-on with other people, right? It's very, very cool. So I encourage everybody to do that. I believe in civil treatment. It's just basic respect for all other people. This is true, D. Civil treatment. That's it. And mutual, common courtesy, mutual respect, civil treatment. But unfortunately, and as long as you and I have this, that's fantastic. But we will come across people who don't have that, don't understand common courtesy, don't care about it. And that's the unfortunate part. And that's the scary part about the world that we live in. World is changing. Good people have to up their game. Bible predicts all these behaviors. Yes, respect is key. Yes, you're absolutely right, Rosario. The world is changing, and it's still the same. If you know what I mean. There's a Bible verse that says there's nothing new under the sun. I know we look around the world today and we see chaos and we see turmoil, but my goodness, flip open the Bible to some of the Old Testament stories. It was battle after uh, pagan rituals that were so weird. All this stuff, all this stuff. And in a way, we're actually we live in kind of a bubble, right? They didn't really have police and stuff like that back then. Fights, if one kingdom wanted another kingdom, they would just go and take it, right? King David was all over the map, and God was with him as King David went to war and warred with everybody. This is the world we live in. Always been warring, always been in turmoil. Why? Why is the world always in turmoil? Why is the world always at war with itself? Because the world is cursed. The earth we walked on, the earth that we walk on, is cursed, and it does not. It's not a godly world. But you know this already. All you gotta do is watch TV, look online, and what's floating around up there. It's not godly. It's not a godly world. Okay, the world is cursed, but we know it was cursed because it was told by the authors of Genesis, that God told Adam, cursed is the ground because of you. Right? What took place in the garden, that whole story, that was the fall from what belonged to God to now belonging to another entity. It took the earth from its godly state, if it was, for what God formed over it, and turned it back into a cursed void, emptiness, absent of God, with the exception of relationships that can be documented throughout the Bible, right? Throughout the Old Testament. And a lot of people don't realize this. We bought into this thing where, just love everybody. The world is inherently good, and we are a Christian nation, and this and that. You've all heard that, right? And it's not really. It's not. That's not really the truth, right? We still live on a cursed earth. It's still broken. We're still fallen, and the devil still runs amok, right? The devil still operates. The devil still manages. The devil still oversees the majority of everything that happens here. We know that, biblically speaking, that the devil, or Satan, has been given authority over the earth, right? Jesus has been given authority to win our souls. That's what the cross represents, right? So that when we leave here, we belong. But here on the earth, that authority has been given over to the devil. And we see this in the interaction that Jesus had with the devil, the temptations where the devil approached Jesus trying to figure out who exactly Jesus is and says, if you're really the Son of God, turn these stones into bread. The second temptation was, if you're really the Son of God, throw yourself off the temple. The last temptation is an important one. Took him to an exceedingly high place. Exceedingly high. You and I don't know where this place is. This is devil's secret hidey hole somewhere, right? But it's an exceedingly high place. And from this place where the devil took Jesus, and as far as the Bible says, they were able to see all of the kingdoms of the earth. So it had to be pretty high. But from this place, the devil said, I will give all of this to you if you bow down and worship me. Now, what's important to understand about this exchange here, this temptation, if you will, this deal that the devil was trying to make, this negotiation, is that in order to make this negotiation, the devil would have had to know something, that he has the authority to hand over the rights to all the kingdoms, that he has the authority to hand over the earth. And so this is important to understand that indeed, Jesus did not argue back with him in the story. Jesus did not say, no, the earth is not yours. It belongs to me. It belongs to God. Get out of here. He didn't say that. He let him go with it. Said, no, I'm not going to jump because thou shalt not test the Lord thy God. So he showed us how to resist the devil, which is basically to say, no, stop. And this is how we resist narcissists, to be honest with you. How do you resist narcissists? You don't sit and debate with them. You don't argue with them. You don't fight with them. You simply say, no, leave me alone. When the so I want you to hear me. A lot of you out there, if you're struggling with dealing with narcissists on whether or not you should talk to them or respond to them, the answer is no. The answer is no. No, you can't come over. No, I don't want to come over. No, I'm not going to meet you for coffee. No, get out of here. This is what resistance is. That is resisting narcissism. That's resisting the devil. You follow me on that? Hope that this makes sense to you. Hi, Deanna Castillo. How are you? It's good to have you back. So good to have you back. It's good to see you. Hit that like button. Thank you, D. As Christians, Rosario says, as Christians, we got tough as nuts, but be like loving tough as nuts, but be like loving doves and cunning as a serpent. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly, I know exactly what you're saying, Rosario. There's actually a scripture for that. It says to, behold, I send you out as sheep amidst the wolves. Right? So be as shrewd as a serpent, but innocent as a dove. This is exactly what we're talking about. The innocence, there's a part of how you and I were raised. The innocence is there. Avoid conflicts, avoid fights when you can. That's what a dove does. Innocent. Fly away. Fly away and be gone from the situation. Get away from the toxicity. Shrewd as a serpent. Be quick. Be discerning. Serpents, snakes they can feel the presence of somebody around them. They're very smart. They're very smart, right? And so that's what shrewdness means, cunning, right? There's a reason why people who are cunning and sell stuff and they're called snakes, right? Because they're cunning, they're smooth, they know how to get out of a situation. You and I need a little bit of that. We need that cunningness. We need to be able to slither away from a situation. We need to be able to go in quick enough, say something and get out. We need to be able to discern the environment we're around. Be discerning. Be conscious and aware. Who's what, who's where. One of the skills that empaths have, if you are an empath, is that you can feel the feelings of other people. You know when someone's angry, when they're mad, and you know it sometimes when you walk into a room. You can feel the discomfort of people. In the past, if you're like me, typically what you would do is try to approach the person. Hey, how you doing? You okay? You want to talk about something? And you do your part, you do your best to make them smile or whatever. And I learned that that's a recipe for disaster, right? Don't do that. We as Christians and as empaths need to stop prancing around, getting our nose in everybody's business, saying, hey, how are you? You look down. It has to be done with discernment. If you're driving down the street and you see a homeless person who looks like they're starving, obviously you can go throw a blanket around them, buy them some food, all right? Because you're not expecting anything in return. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm talking about when you're dealing with narcissistic people, toxic people, family members, friends who you don't really know. And something tells you they're angry or upset. Something's compelling you to go and just try to make them feel better. That's when you need to say, or rather, you'll feel a discomfort. It's when you feel the discomfort, right? You notice, you feel discomfort, you feel an uneasiness in the air, and so you're looking around and you can tell, okay, these people are upset. typically as an empath, you have some options. And this is what I used to do, and it might be what you do. Go and try to talk with them, see how it's going. That is disastrous. Don't do that. One, you have to understand as an empath that not everybody wants your giddy, happy-go-luckiness. They just don't. They don't want you to come up and say, "Hey, how you doing? I just want to tell you I love you," and that blah blah. They don't want that. What they want to do is attack someone, and by doing that, you are opening the door to be attacked, whether you like it or not. So, being as shrewd as a serpent means just that. You can feel that. You feel that uneasiness, that discomfort. There's darkness in your presence, and being as shrewd as a serpent means, okay, we need to cut this visit short. I need to get out of here. I'm not feeling this. We need to trust that. We need to trust that. Yes, like in Job, the devil used people to confuse him. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. You see, the devil can operate through anyone and everyone, honestly, unless you are grounded in your relationship and in your faith, and you recognize when the devil's calling you out. And the devil will try to call you out and seduce you into toxic relationships, into the lives of people, into hands of others who want to destroy you. And that's not, it's not what you want to do. Everyone is definitely angry. Merry Christmas, laugh out loud. Yeah. We live in an angry world. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And driven band. Which one we got? I'm trying to see if I've missed any questions or comments up here. Anything that I can answer. I believe it is evil in them. Kevin, what about the Jezebel spirit? Jezebel spirit, Cynthia asked about, and that's something that intrigued me for a long time. It seems to me that it had come back up and became popularized again, more recently. The Jezebel spirit, we all deal with, we come across these spirits. And so it is an entity. It's very real. And but I'm not sure, at what point we're dealing with the Jezebel and what point we're not. I mean, it's just evil. That's all there is to it. I think a lot of times what you and I try to do is put a very particular name and face to what we're dealing with so that we can try to understand how it's affecting us better. But it doesn't work that way. I jumped on to that Jezebel spirit bandwagon for a little bit, but to me, it was like throwing another wrench in there. And really, the focus is not to be on the Jezebel spirit. The focus is not to be even on the devil. The focus is to be on how you're living your life. Because if you live your life walking upright according to your values, yes, you're going to be attacked by people. Yes, you're going to be called names by people. Yes, the Jezebel spirit's going to be after you. Yes, all this stuff is true, but you'll have boundaries in place. It's not going to affect you the same way, right? So yes, it's important to understand and know these things, Jezebel spirit, this and that. However, not giving them a foothold in your life is the most important thing. So yes, you're aware that these things are out there, but the most important thing is how you're living your life. All right. Yeah, peace, keep the peace and all the chaos. That's right. Right on. Thank you, Psycho Ghost Trackers. I love that name. Psycho Ghost Tracker says, "Hey there, love the channel. Thank you so much. So glad that you're here." And what is that? What is what, Penny? Many teach that Jezebel equals narcissism. She'd stop at nothing, worshipped idols, sacrificed babies. It's possible, but I wouldn't limit narcissism to just Jezebel. Narcissism is narcissism. What came first, Jezebel or narcissism? I don't know. So It's possible. Jezebel represents an evil entity. Narcissism is narcissism. Um, you know, there's it could just go down a whole long wormhole. It can go on forever. There's a lot of debate there. There's a lot to talk about there. Not debate, but there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to unpack. You know, but the most important thing again is how we're living our life, because Jezebel can do nothing to you so long as a foothold is not given into your life. Now, remember, when we talk about narcissistic abuse, guys, and I believe that God gave me this and there's truth to it, it's a result of these three things, right? One, being with people you have no business being with. Two, doing things you have no business doing. And three, going places you have no business going. That's it. And it's usually all three of these things that are working together. And this is how you know you're way off course in life. And you're opening the door in your life to whatever evil is out there. Right? You're inviting it in. As Christians, when we enter a room, we are the authority for that situation and environment. That's right. And this is true. Yes, I agree 100% that we are the authority. And that doesn't mean that we can tell a room in a place where we have no business being in to shape up and reflect what we want them to reflect. It doesn't work like that. When you say we're the authority, yes, but that authority also means that, as the Bible says, if you bring in your spirit of peace and it's not received, then you have the authority over that situation to leave and kick the dirt off your feet. So it's important for people to understand what authority means. Authority is it's around you. The authority is in your space, what you allow in your physical space. So by authority, you can't walk into a room and change their situation, right? We don't have that power. We cannot change their situation, especially if they're not in agreement with you, right? But you have the authority to be at peace. You have the authority to walk away from an escalating situation. You have the authority to defuse a situation, right? And so it's just a matter of knowing what you're dealing with, where you're at, and why. Right. Mike, what's going on? Sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to ignore you if you're saying hi to me twice. When I start talking, start rambling, I just get lost in it. All right. Well, it's so good to see you all. We've been here tonight going for about an hour. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. We didn't have any phone calls, but listen, we're not going to be here next week because of the holiday. The holiday is going to be next week, so I'm going to be in California. I'm not going to have this stuff with me. If only I had 1,000 subscribers, I could go live from my phone. But I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet on this Join the Royal We, and so I won't be able to. Unless you all can manage to scrounge up more subscribers for this channel. If you do, next Monday I'll be live in California on the phone. But I'm going to figure out a way to get in touch with you and to share what's going on with you next week in some way, shape, or form. Also, be sure, no calls tonight. That's okay. That's okay. Be sure, listen, be sure if you have not yet already, go to the Royal We Organic channel. That's the original, the OG Royal We channel, right? And be sure to hit the bell notification because you don't want to miss the videos coming out, okay? Especially the next one that's going to be the talking about the unpacking of the drone that you all provided, and also some other videos that are going to be coming out within these next weeks. So be sure to hit that bell notification so you get those videos. I don't want you to miss the new journey that the Royal We is going to be on. I'm also going to be throwing things up there from the trip to California, going back to where I came from, back towards the direction of where I experienced the most narcissistic abuse. I'm going back to that place again, and I want to share this journey with you as I go back, okay? Because I'm going back with a different mindset, a different heart towards the situation. However, on the Facebook page, I will see you all there. I love you all. Have a very, very good holiday, as best as you can. I know it's not going to be easy for everybody, but Merry Christmas to the Royal We family, and we'll be back. We will be back. I will be thinking of you. You'll be in my heart, and please stay in touch with one another. If you have not yet already, get on the Royal We Facebook page, because there you can get a lot of prayer and a lot of talk all the time. The Facebook page, the Facebook group, rather, is constantly going. So be sure to get on the Royal We Facebook support group for a lot of help. All right? Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.